The night sky shimmered, a tapestry of distant suns and swirling nebulae. Unseen by the slumbering world below, a vessel of impossible design pierced the veil of the atmosphere. It descended silently, a whisper of celestial wind, towards the sprawling wilderness of the Scottish Highlands. Inside, 3 figures huddled. 2, tall and slender, their skin the colour of moonlight, watched with anxious eyes. The third, a mere child, slept peacefully, oblivious to the momentous journey and the uncertain future that awaited. This was Lyra, and this was her arrival on Earth. The vessel touched down on the heather-clad moorland, its arrival masked by a swirling mist. The 2 adults emerged, their movements fluid and graceful, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and trepidation. They carried Lyra, her small form swaddled in shimmering fabric, and together they vanished into the night. Their time on Earth was short-lived, a fleeting visit marred by an unknown danger. They sought refuge in the wilds, but fate, it seemed, had other plans. One moonless night, as the wind howled its mournful song, disaster struck. Their sanctuary was discovered. Chaos ensued, a whirlwind of light and sound, and in the ensuing panic, little Lyra was separated from her parents. Alone and terrified, she stumbled through the darkness, the cold seeping into her bones, the unfamiliar sounds of the forest amplifying her fear. She wandered for days, her tiny legs growing weary, her cries for her parents swallowed by the vast indifference of the wilderness. Just as her strength began to fail, she stumbled into a clearing. There, bathed in the warm glow of a fire, sat a lone fisherman, his weathered face etched with concern. He scooped her into his arms, his heart melting at the sight of the lost child, her silver hair shimmering like moonlight on snow. Lyra, the alien girl, had found a new home. The old fisherman Angus became her guardian, her protector in a strange and unfamiliar world. He raised her as his own, his heart swelling with love for the extraordinary child he had found. The village, nestled amongst the rolling hills, accepted her with open arms, their initial curiosity giving way to a warm embrace. Lyra thrived in her new environment. She learned the rhythms of their world, the changing seasons, the ebb and flow of life in the small, tight-knit community. She excelled in her studies, her mind sharp and inquisitive, her capacity for learning seemingly boundless. Yet there were whispers, rumours that spread like wildfire through the village. Lyra was different. Her eyes, the colour of molten silver, seemed to hold ancient secrets. Her touch, it was said, could mend broken bones, could soothe the most troubled mind. And as she blossomed into a young woman, these whispers grew louder, fueled by the strange and wondrous things that seemed to happen around her. The power within her, dormant for so long, was beginning to stir. It started subtly, a faint hum beneath the surface of her everyday life. Objects moved with a thought, lights flickered when her emotions ran high. The natural world seemed to respond to her presence, animals drawn to her with an almost unnerving trust. Lyra was both frightened and exhilarated by this burgeoning power, a force she couldn't fully comprehend, let alone control. Angus, wise and observant, recognized the signs. He had seen glimpses of it over the years, flashes of something ancient and potent lurking beneath the surface of his beloved daughter. He knew he couldn't shield her from it forever. He began to teach her, sharing what little he knew of ancient lore, of stories whispered around campfires, of beings with abilities far beyond human comprehension. Lyra absorbed this knowledge like a sponge, her mind racing to make sense of it all. She practiced in secret, honing her abilities, learning to manipulate the world around her with increasing precision. But with every success, every display of power, came a growing sense of isolation. She was different, set apart from the humans she had grown to love. The fear of hurting those she cared about the most gnawed at her, a constant shadow lurking at the edge of her joy. Word of Lyra's abilities spread beyond the confines of their village, carried on the wind to ears both curious and covetous. Soon, whispers turned into rumours, and rumours into undeniable truths. Lyra became a local legend, a mythical being whispered about in hushed tones. Some sought her out for healing, others for knowledge, drawn to her like moths to a flame. One day a stranger arrived in the village, a man of wealth and influence, his eyes filled with an unsettling hunger. He had heard tales of Lyra's powers and saw in her an opportunity, a means to an end. He offered Angus a deal, a life of luxury in exchange for Lyra's service. Angus, his heart heavy with dread, refused. That night, under the cover of darkness, the stranger and his men returned. They stormed Angus's cottage, their faces twisted with greed and malice. Lyra fought back, her powers erupting in a blinding display of light and energy, but she was outnumbered, outmatched. Just when all hope seemed lost, a figure emerged from the shadows, his presence commanding, his voice a low growl that sent shivers down their spines. He moved with a grace that belied his size, his movements swift and precise, his every blow carrying the weight of 1,000 storms. He fought with a ferocity that sent the attackers scattering, his presence alone enough to instill terror in their hearts. This was Ethan, a man forged in the fires of adversity, his strength matched only by the depth of his compassion. Ethan had heard the whispers too, tales of the extraordinary young woman who lived in the village. He had been drawn to her story, sensing in her a kindred spirit, a soul touched by both darkness and light. He had arrived just in time, his intervention swift and decisive. With the attackers subdued, Ethan turned his attention to Lyra. He saw the fear in her eyes, the exhaustion etched on her delicate features. He offered her a reassuring smile, his voice a low rumble that calmed the storm within her. He would keep her safe, he vowed, his words a promise etched in stone. In the aftermath of the attack, a bond formed between Lyra and Ethan, a connection forged in the crucible of danger and shared vulnerability. He became her protector, her confidant, the one person she could truly trust with the burden of her powers. He, in turn, was captivated by her spirit, her intelligence, and the extraordinary abilities that lay dormant beneath the surface. As days turned into weeks, their connection deepened. They spent hours talking, sharing their hopes and fears, their dreams for the future. He taught her how to control her powers, to harness the raw energy that surged within her. She, in turn, showed him the beauty of the world as seen through eyes that perceived far more than the human eye could ever comprehend. Their love blossomed slowly, a delicate flower, pushing through the cracks of their hardened exteriors. He saw past the extraordinary to the compassionate, loving woman beneath. She found solace in his strength, his unwavering belief in her, his acceptance of all that she was, both human and otherworldly. And in the sanctuary of their love, Lyra found a peace she had never thought possible. One crisp autumn morning, Lyra awoke with a strange sensation washing over her. It was subtle at first, a flutter in her stomach, a heightened sensitivity to light and sound. As the days turned into weeks, a sense of profound change settled over her, a change that went beyond the ebb and flow of her extraordinary abilities. Lyra was pregnant. The news filled her with a mixture of joy and trepidation. The miracle of creating life, a gift she had never dared to dream of, filled her heart with a love more profound than any she had ever known. But fear, a shadowy companion, whispered doubts in her ear. What would this child inherit? Would it be blessed or cursed by its unique lineage? Ethan, his love for Lyra unwavering, embraced the news with open arms. He would face whatever challenges lay ahead, he vowed. His love for Lyra and their unborn child, a beacon of strength in the face of uncertainty. He would be their protector, their guide, their anchor in a world that might not understand the miracle they carried. The village, initially abuzz with speculation and concern, rallied around Lyra and Ethan. They offered their support, their love, and their unwavering belief in the goodness that resided within both mother and child. As Lyra's pregnancy progressed, a sense of peace settled over her. The fear, though still present, no longer held her captive. In its place bloomed a fierce hope, a mother's unwavering love for the life growing within her. The child, she knew, would be extraordinary, a testament to the enduring power of love and acceptance. Whether human or alien, gifted or ordinary, this child would be a symbol of hope, a bridge between worlds, a testament to the boundless possibilities that lay at the intersection of the extraordinary and the everyday. And as Lyra cradled her growing belly, she knew with an unshakable certainty that their journey had just begun.